From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, June 10th, 2024. So we look at the next 10 days, we've got a parade of storm systems. This persistent area of upper-level low pressure continues to just send storm systems along the 49th here. That's going to keep the chance for showers and storms in the forecast. Heavy rain near and north of Highway 16 and down into southern Manitoba, kind of the same corridor that's been hit over the next week or two. Southern Alberta, southwest Saskatchewan, you still get the chance for some showers and storms, just a little more isolated, scattered in nature. Those temperatures are going to be fluctuating, pretty typical of the first couple of weeks of June here. There will be periods of warmer days. There will be some shots of cooler air. What this persistent trough to the west does, though, is it really kind of keeps us protected from prolonged waves of excessive heat and humidity. So pretty temperate for the first couple of weeks of June here as we talk about temperatures. The last 7 days, pretty reflective of the next 7 days. Again, this pattern kind of just like this, where it's heaviest near and north of Highway 16 down into southern portions of Manitoba, and then just a bit drier across this corridor. As we get closer to the weekend into next week, we start to fill this area in, but over the next 5 to 7 days, really kind of focused on this area for your best chance of showers and storms, really reflective of the last 7 days. Now looking at the satellite picture here getting started on Monday morning, you can see the swirl in the clouds right here moving into southern Alberta. That is our first storm system of the week that'll be making its way through over the next couple of days, but we've still got this persistent trough across the Pacific, so it's going to continue to be kind of just a parade of storm systems moving across the area over the next 2 weeks. The radar on Monday morning, again, you see the heavier rain spreading into parts of southern Alberta. The storm system will continue to make its way off to the east over the next 2 to 3 days, bringing some of this moisture into parts of Saskatchewan, eventually into Manitoba, and then we'll watch for the next storm system to kind of reload back behind that. Now, as this storm makes its way in, we got some southerly flow out in advance of that. A warm front kind of draped across this region. South of Highway 16, temperatures this morning in the lower teens. North of it, you fall into the single digits. And then as we look at that forecast for precipitation again over the next 7 days, pretty heavy near and north of Highway 16, Peace River, Grand Prairie, Edmonton, into Saskatoon, Regina, and the Winnipeg, Brandon area. You all are in line for several rounds of showers and storms here, certainly talking about half an inch to maybe an inch or more of total precipitation across these areas. And as we look at week 2, the pattern continues to roll on. You really see this corridor right here continues to be pretty active, pretty stormy, multiple chances for showers and thunderstorms across the prairie down into the upper Midwest of the United States. A lot of that thanks in part, again, to the persistent area of low pressure right here and that parade of storm systems making its way through this corridor. And we can look at this here with the animation of 500 millibar height and anomalies. As we go through the next 14 days or so, let's go ahead and bring it back to present day. Here's the first wave making its way through the prairie right now, kind of the main trough off to our west. This is your Monday. This is now Tuesday, getting into June 12th. This is now Wednesday. You see the next storm system. So here's 1, here is 2. Still got the main trough off to our west. Take the drawings off here. This is Wednesday now, getting into Thursday. Get a little bit of a break here, probably warmer as we get into late week. And then here comes another wave, kind of the main, I don't want to say main piece of this trough here, but kind of a bigger push of upper level low pressure as we get into the weekend. This is when we'll start to expand the chances for some heavier rain down into southern Alberta, southwestern Saskatchewan. Again, you see this look. This is all the way into early next week. So as we go through the next 8-9 days, not really changing the pattern all that dramatically, just kind of moving these pieces around so that we're kind of moving the best precipitation chances around along with it. And we can take this a little further. This is now June 18th, 19th, 20th. Getting into the 21st, 22nd. And as you see, the colors are starting to change. That's because we're losing, some of the stronger signals because we're getting 2 weeks out into the future. But if you just kind of look at the overall pattern here on June 25th, still looking at broadly troughing across this region with, no strong sign of a big ridge building in across the region, no big sign of this trough, shifting dramatically across North America. So we really kind of keep the persistence forecast going. What that means is, no big change in the background state over the next 2 weeks, no big change in the weather pattern over the next 2 weeks. So here's your kind of near-term, higher resolution forecast from the NAM model. We get started here Monday morning. That first system lifting through the region, the heavier rain moving into Saskatchewan as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, with the main area of low pressure and its precipitation moving into southern Manitoba by the time we get to tonight into tomorrow morning. As we start the day off on Tuesday, a lot of sunshine across the region, especially across central and southern Alberta into southwestern Saskatchewan. As the first storm system departs, the second one starts to move in. Looking for the chance for some scattered thunderstorms on Tuesday afternoon across portions of central and southern Alberta. Certainly isolated or scattered in nature. Most folks going to get missed here, but we can't rule out a strong storm or two maybe producing some hail across central and southern Alberta on Tuesday afternoon and evening. And then that risk for a couple of hail producing thunderstorms moves into parts of central Saskatchewan into central and southern Manitoba, kind of focused on this area here as we get into Wednesday afternoon and evening. Again, a very low risk of a couple of strong storms maybe producing some hail across the region. Not a widespread threat, but certainly someone could end up with some hail on Wednesday afternoon and evening. As we get into Thursday, the storm system starts to kind of spin down across the region. We'll start to kind of reload heading into the weekend. So this, from the National Blended Model, kind of a look at your precipitation forecast through Friday, June 14th. Again, heaviest north of Highway 16, Peace River, Grand Prairie over toward Edmonton. You could get into that 20 to 30 millimeter range. Saskatoon, Regina, you're kind of in that 15 to 30 millimeter range. And then as you get into Manitoba, talking about anywhere from, the single digits near the border, getting up to around 15 to 20 millimeters as you get a little further north into kind of south central Manitoba. But as we add in the days that follow, this takes us in really the next 2 weeks or so, kind of the next 10 to 12 days. You see a lot of heavier precipitation spreading across the region. Now, there's some disagreements here on how heavy the precipitation actually gets across this corridor right here. The usual suspects, the drier folks there. The NBM going pretty hard with that chance for, 30 to 60 plus millimeters of precipitation over the next 2 weeks or so. But I'll show you a couple other forecasts here that are a little bit more modest with those precipitation totals, but certainly the pattern is there to bring in frequent chances for showers and storms. It is not a dry pattern across southern Alberta by any stretch of the imagination. Now we'll look at the European model. This will take us a little bit further into the future. This is a little bit quicker here, your Monday. That rain moving out of southern Alberta into central and southern Saskatchewan during the last half of the day today, moving into southern Manitoba overnight into the morning hours on Tuesday. We're kind of between systems during the day on Tuesday, except for those folks in parts of Alberta that could see an isolated strong storm or two on Tuesday afternoon. Let me go ahead and jump back here. Did not mean to advance. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get to Tuesday. This is now Wednesday, June 12th. You see that system now emerging, that chance for a strong storm or two across this region on Wednesday afternoon and evening. Let's go a little quicker now into, this is your Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. We're now between storm systems again on Thursday into Friday. Maybe some lingering showers across the region, but probably a warmer, drier finish to the work week. This is your Friday, and now the next storm system starts to emerge as we head into the weekend. This is where that confidence starts to drop in the, the exact evolution here. That window is open for some heavier precipitation. If you kind of look at the dates that I'm rocking back and forth on here, it's over the weekend into early next week. This would be kind of June 15th through June 18th. This is when we could really open the door to widespread shower and thunderstorm activity across the prairie. Of course, we'll talk again next Monday morning. We'll kind of be right in the thick of things, but that kind of lays it out here. Over the next 5 to 6 days, it's going to be scattered, hit or miss. As we get into the weekend, early next week, days 7 through 10, the chance is there for some soaking precipitation across the prairie. So here's a look at some of the different forecasts here. This is the European AI forecast system here. Again, you see a large corridor of the prairie with that chance for, 30 to 60 millimeters of precipitation over the next 10 days. You see this area right here, if anyone's going to be kind of struggling to stack up the higher precipitation, it's going to be these folks in southern Alberta, but the chance is there. There's just some disagreement in the weather models over, how much we're going to get, how frequently we get hit there, but certainly the opportunity is there. You're not going to be left out to completely dry here. The probability of picking up an inch or more of total precipitation over the next 10 days. This is from the European Ensemble model. Again, heaviest across this corridor here. A lot of, Peace River to Edmonton, Saskatoon to Regina, down to Brandon and Winnipeg. You're in line there for probably an inch or more the next 10 days. It's just folks in kind of the Calgary down to Medicine Hat over here into southwestern Saskatchewan. You're going to be a little more hit or miss in nature. Can't quite guarantee that inch over the next 10 days. Looking at temperatures, there's going to be some fluctuations, certainly some warmer days, especially in the south, certainly some shots of cooler air, especially in the north. But with this persistent area of low pressure here, we're not allowing any big-time ridging to build across the prairie, so we're kind of protected from prolonged summer heat, at least through the first half of June. Here's what it looks like in Calgary. Again, you see those fluctuations, certainly a bit warmer to start the week off, but we get a shot of cooler air accompanying that chance for some heavier precipitation kind of right in the weekend into early next week time frame. You see the similar look here in Edmonton, some warmer days as we head through the next few, rainy, cooler as we head into the weekend and early next week. Saskatoon, a very similar look. A couple of days in the 20s, couple of days in the teens, a bit cooler and stormier next week. Regina, and then we'll finish here with a look in Winnipeg. You certainly see a lot of days in the 20s over the next 7 to 10 days overall. I'll talk to you again next Monday, what may be a stormy Monday across a lot of the prairie.